Hi guys, so good afternoon and welcome back to my magical world. I think it's lunchtime. It's 12:32 and the afternoon, and today is August 20, 2025, Wednesday. So eat well guys. So although later ko pa naman ito ipopost just because I'm kind of like learning many things right now, micro learning. So not rushing anything kasi may mga I'm doing other things also in the actual reality. So we'll just continue reading page 280 and 281. Yan, don't worry about it. Don't worry guys, matatapos na natin yung book and finally makakapag-move on na tayo to our next phase of learning from other topics naman, of course. I just wanna I wanna thank all my new subscribers, guys, for staying with me and tuning my channel, and especially if you are finishing my video. Again, you don't need to see my face if you don't want to. Just hear my beautiful voice. Taray. So letter B. Letter B na tayo for birdie. The joke lang guys. Letter B. In thinking back to her earliest years in the 1950s, Temple Grandin could only recall a dark and chaotic world. So, wala lang na, isegue ko lang. Nakakatawa yung sa PBB, si Esnir and the other guys. They're just so funny. Si River, they're so funny when they are having, conversation. So, born with autism, she could remember spending hours on the beach watching grains of sand pour through her hands. She lived in a world of constant terrors. Any sudden noise would overwhelm her. It took her much longer than other children to learn language, and as she slowly did, she became painfully aware of how different she was from other children. Often alone, she naturally gravitated toward animals, particularly horses. It was more than just a need for companionship. Wait lang guys Parang lumilim. Binuksan ko na yung window. So, wait lang. Let's continue. Okay na yung lighting. Wait lang. Ayan. Medyo sinisipon ako. A little. So, she somehow felt an unusual identification and empathy with the world of animals. His great passion was to go horseback riding in the country around Boston, where she was raised. So, in riding horses, she could deepen her connection to them. Then, one summer, as a young girl, she was sent to visit her Aunt Anne, who had a ranch in Arizona. Temple felt an instant connection with the cattle on the ranch, and she would watch them for hours. What particularly intrigued her was the squeeze chute they would enter to be vaccinated. The pressure from the side panels of the chute was designed to help relax them while they were injected. As far back as she could remember, she had always been trying to wrap herself in blankets or bury herself under cushions and pillows to somehow feel squeezed. As with the cows, any sort of gradual compression would relax her. So, she had a long dream about some kind of device that could squeeze her, and seeing the cattle in the chute, she realized the answer. One day, she begged her aunt to let her into the chute to be squeezed like cow, and the aunt agreed. For 30 minutes, she experienced what she had always wanted, and afterwards felt a complete calmness. Okay? So it was at such a moment that she realized she had some kind of strange connection to cattle, that her destiny was somehow tied up with these animals. So curious about this connection, A few years later in high school, she decided to research the subject of cattle. She also wanted to find out whether other autistic children and adults felt the same way. So, ako pala guys, when you really think about it. So, you know what? Why you don't need, why you don't have to give up. Kasi, when you are on the verge of giving up, just remember guys, like, 'di ba, may mga pinapanganak na mga autistic. There are people that have to take care of them all their life. Like, yun na lang yung focus nila. Yun na lang yung buhay nila. Kasi nga, they are, sila yung napili to take care of those kind of people. 'Di ba? Na nabigyan ng ganong klaseng life. So, ikaw, since hindi ka naman nag-aalaga ng ganun, wala ka namang inaalagaan na, alam mo yun, yung forever mong aalagaan. So, dapat hindi ka masyadong nagko-complain kasi you are fully capable and fully equipped to fucking do whatever the fucking you want here in this life. 'Di ba? So, you have to be so blessed that you have the complete bones, complete limbs, the mind that can conquer anything if you really set your intention towards it, diba? To achieve many things. Kasi nga, hindi naman hati-hati yung priorities mo. So, what I'm just saying is, guys, kung gusto nyong gumive up sa mga walang kwentang bagay, wag na muna. Sa next life na lang. Okay, continue na tayo. So, she could find very little information on cattle and their emotions on how they might experience the world. There was much more on autism, and she devoured books on the subject. In this way, she discovered an interest in the sciences. Doing research allowed her to channel her nervous energy and learn about the world. She had tremendous powers to focus completely on one subject. So amazing. Yung ganyang hyper-focus, when you're kind of like reaching something, diba? You must be really so proud of yourself if you have such kind of skills or talent or, nature. So, slowly, she transformed herself into a promising student, which allowed her to gain admittance into a liberal arts school in New Hampshire. Tama ba? She had chosen the field because of her, wait lang, New Hampshire, hindi ko sure guys, basta yun na yun, where she majored in psychology. Yan, yung major in psychology, like, the psych people. They're a little bit strange, but, kind of like them. But I don't like, yung all-knowing, yung nila, all-knowing nature, like, they study the such and such. Like, kasi, there are people that know exactly what they are saying, and there are people who are, experiences have really cater to that kind of course, diba? So what I'm just saying guys is, sana you really know what you are seeing, before judging. Although yung nature ng psych students or psych professionals is, they must know maybe 10 steps ahead. So, ayun. I'm just saying. Diba? Kasi may mga naririnig ko na parang they speak like so, that they're like, masyado silang confident about what they read. But, not all the time it's correct or it's right. Okay? So, she had chosen the field because of her interest in autism. She had a personal inside knowledge of the subject, and following the major would help her to understand more of the science behind the phenomenon. So, may mga vlogger that are doing this, just so if you have such and such same experiences, diba? Eventually they could help how to manage those people with autism. So after graduating, she decided to pursue a PhD in psychology at Arizona State University. But when she went back to the Southwest and visited her aunt, she reconnected with her childhood fascination with cattle. Not really knowing why or what it would lead to, she decided to switch her major to animal sciences. For her thesis, she would focus largely on cattle. Grandin had always done much of her thinking in visual terms, often having to translate words into images before she could understand them. Perhaps this was the result of the unique wiring of her brain as part of the fieldwork for her major. She visited a couple of cattle feed. Wait lang guys. Dilim? Wait lang. Wait lang. Yan, continue na natin. Ayan nyo na ako madilim. Have to finish this kasi may gagawin pa ako. Okay. So, as part of the fieldwork for her major, she visited a couple of cattle feedlots in the state. Yan. And she was appalled by what she saw. It suddenly became clear to her that her prosperity to think in visual terms was not shared by most others. How else to explain the highly irrational design of many of these feedlots and the remarkable lack of attention paid to details that were so visible to her eyes? Okay? So she would watch with dismay as the animals were herded through cattle chutes that were far too slippery. She would imagine what it must feel like to be a 1,200-pound animal suddenly sensing a loss of control on surfaces that were clearly too slick. The animals would bellow. Long guys. The animals would bellow and stop in their tracks as they slid into one another, causing a sudden pile-up at one feedlot. Almost all of the cows would stop at the same point. Something in their visual field was obviously terrifying them. Didn't anyone stop to consider what was causing this? And another feedlot, she witnessed the horrifying spectacle of cattle being herded onto rumps, leading into a deep vat, a pool of water full of disinfectant to get rid them of ticks and parasites. So the ramp was too steep and the drop into the water too great. Some of the cattle would tumble upside down into the pool and drown. Yan. So, ano muna kayo? Water break. Yan. So, yan guys. Ayan yun na yung background ko madilim. Sa ako na yan ayusin. Kasi, busy-busy ba tayo? Based on what she had seen, she decided to do a detailed analysis of the efficiency of these feedlots and how they could be improved. For her master's thesis, she now visited dozens of these sites, and each time she would stand close to the chutes, recording the reactions of the cattle as they were branded and vaccinated. On her own, she would approach the cattle and touch them. When she used to ride horses as a girl, she often could sense the mood of the horse just by the contact with her legs and hands. She began to experience the same with the cattle, as she would press her hands on their sides and feel their relaxing response. She noticed that when she was calm, they would react to her in a calmer manner. Slowly, she was getting a sense of their perspective and how so much of their behavior was guided by perceived threats that would necessarily that we could not necessarily notice. So, syempre, just like humans, the animals also have fair share of threats that they're experiencing on their their environment, their natural stasis. Tama ba? Basta guys, hindi gets nyo ba yun? So, ang init na. Let's cut this. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for helping me make this world a better place for all of us and for the future generation. May tapusin pa ako. And kayo, okay? Keep up the good work. Sige. Tsaka subscribe kayo guys. Okay? See ya.
correct answer.